Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you across the world. My name is Macha Ponin. I am ethnic minority and indigenous people, lesbian, feminist, women, human rights defenders. I have my own family. We are create our LGBTIQ parents, and we are nurture the young child who are the most beautiful. I am very grateful to be in here with all of you today. And my speech will be about what happened during the COVID-19 and how it impacts to LGBTQ parenting, so nurture the child, and also we call our family rainbow family. And I have my colleague as well today. I want to invite my colleague. Benny.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone around the world. I am B.A. Odongo, or Benny. I am a gender non-conforming human being. I am blessed with a beautiful family. I am a feminist, and I am a director and a founder of Coast Women for Women. Coast Women for Women advocate for family diversity. And here today, we want to talk about the situation in Kenya during this pandemic and the impact of it to the rainbow family. Thank you.
Then let's talk about Thailand. Since 2020, Thailand impacted hardly by the COVID-19. I am not only individual who fighting for right to family, but I also a feminist woman human rights defenders who are working with the most marginalized community, which is an indigenous community along the Thai-Myanmar border, where an armed conflict still ongoing. I am working with LGBTIQ who are indigenous people. The impact of COVID-19, as you see, is impact our livelihood, it impact economic, it impact our mentally, and also many also impact physically if they got the COVID-19 infection. The situation in Thailand now is still really crisis. We have the cases nearly 10,000 per day. We have the people die nearly 100 per day. This is the time that we are stand in solidarity with the people who are most marginalized. My family also impact with the COVID-19. We are run our organization so-called สร้างสรรค์อนาคตเยาวชน. It's organization working on empower indigenous young people who are LGBTIQ and also women, which many of them holding stateless status because the impact of an armed conflict make them internal displacements and they lost opportunity to go to school when they are so young. They are unable to speak mainstream languages, which is Thai. So the people in the community that I serve, that I work with, are faced hunger during the COVID-19. But at the same time, my organization also faced the financial difficulty. We are unable to get any funding to cover the core funding. We are stay with no salary for nearly a year. And also we don't have even the rental cost, but we are fighting for that. we have started the fundraising campaign to support indigenous community, and we are save a lot of young indigenous that they can continuing their school. This means that the Rainbow family do not only face it challenge alone. We all face it the challenge, but when we are together, we could survive. I am finally find a lot of opportunity to bring this story to the Thai government, to the UN platform. But at the same time, I make that really intersectionality. We are talking about the COVID-19 that impact to indigenous community, that impact to the women. It's also impact to the children, but at the same time, it's impact to the women human rights defender like us. And its impact to the child of the Rainbow family. My daughter stands to advocate for the right of the child of Rainbow family. During her advocacy period over a year, she got the prize. She got some acknowledgement by an international platform. She won the Asian Girl Human Rights Award, which granted by the Garden of Hope Foundation. Its award is acknowledgement of her advocacy. She talking about the right of the child of Rainbow family. She's talking about what happened to LGBTIQ at the school. But at the same time, she worked as a volunteer due to the fact that she's growing up with our family. She has her autonomy to freely perform the work that I have been done for 15 years. But finally, last 3 years, she started to more engagement. Until last year, she stand really strong that no child should face the discrimination because of being a child of Rainbow family. Therefore, I will stand to use my experience to help the people to understand. Since then, she has a lot of platform to talking about what should be look like growing up in Rainbow family, which help the people understand that discrimination, stigmatization should be ended. And we are together not only for our family, we are engaging with marriage equality in Thailand. We have a lot of platforms to advocate about it. And finally, I want to combine. During the COVID-19, everyone got impacted hardly, Rainbow family as well. We are not only stand for ourselves to talking about our rights, but at the same time, we are talking about the right of marginalized people. Our family conduct a lot of online seminar. Our organization invited a lot of community to talking about vaccination, COVID-19, justice to access to COVID-19 vaccination, which is talking about now a lot of countries like Thailand, we are still not yet get any vaccine when the cases rise up, and also it will be locked down. The mental health, it become a big challenge. We started to run. Our family be the runner team now. And we are engaging with some virtual running and make the Rainbow family visibility. But more than anything, why we run? Because we want to promote health and well-being, especially for the Rainbow family and for LGBT people. So all of that is mean this is a time for all of us to speak out about what happened. This is a time for all of us to stand for human rights. This is a time to combine the intersectionality, and it's a time to say our Rainbow family cannot be left behind. Thank you so much. Mic, please, Bernie.
Thank you, Masha, for that insight. I want to bring the situation back to Kenya. How is the situation look like in Kenya, especially during this pandemic, and what are the impact to the rainbow families? To start with, the issue of rainbow families is something that we can say that it's still new to Kenya, because despite the fact that we have many LGBT organizations in Kenya, there is none rainbow families. And so one of the most impact is the stigma and discrimination. The rainbow families in Kenya face stigma and discrimination, and not only from the larger society, but also within the LGBTI community. This is simply because people believes that the LGBTI community believes that if the LGBTI people believes that when you are a lesbian, when you are a bisexual, you don't need to sorry for that. When you're an LGBTI person, you cannot be a parent. Or when you're an LGBTI person, you cannot have a family, because it's believed that people don't expect us to have a family. So that is still one of the greatest challenge that the rainbow families face in Kenya. And when it comes to the pandemic, we realized that because of the government directions, people are told to isolate themselves. And being that the LGBTI community is very small, the isolations were killing so many people with mental health. And because of the mental health, there were so many cases about the intimate partner violence. And the pandemic also affected people economically. And being the minority community, most of the people are struggling with the small income or with the very little jobs that which at the end of the day were swept away with the pandemic. So this leads to, intimate partner violence, because now there is no understanding in between the rainbow families because of lack of finance. And also people have to provide for the family every day, and our children doesn't understand whether there is food or not. So because of all this pressure, there was an increase of mental health and the intimate partner violence. And the culture, the African culture, people believe that a family is only comprises of father, mother, and children. So the concept of a rainbow family, it's still an issue that people are still struggling to understand, because at the end of the day, people feel that as costume for women, we are trying to recruit children to be homosexual, which at the end of the day, that is not the case. Another challenge that we had is the safe space. The rainbow families in Kenya doesn't have a space where they call a safe space. We normally have to pay for somewhere we can sit together, because we still doesn't have an office. And this also sometimes put us at risk, or go to places where people don't feel much more comfortable. And people are going through hell, and people doesn't know how to express themselves with these old challenges. So the safe space is still also a struggle to us. And this also brings a problem to, another challenge is about the education system, and which doesn't understand the concept of family diversity. And this backlash with our children who are going to these schools, when they come back home, they're like wondering that their family is not recognized or their family is not accepted. So as Coast Women for Women, we are trying to empower our beneficiaries with so many tools to take care of themselves, especially one about the solidarity healing, where our members can come together to work on themselves. They learn about how to write their daily journal and what to do to change their feelings when it's not in the right position or when they feel hurt, just to make sure that they're calm, because we believe that when the parents are fine, then even the children will be okay. But when the parents' mental health is not stable, then the children will also be in a problem. So at the end of the day, the rainbow families in Kenya, we are still struggling also even with visibility, because people still believe that we do not exist. So the visibility is an issue, and especially even this during pandemic, that even when there was an opportunity that the government was providing food stuff to each citizen, but you realize that the queer parents or the queer community are left behind and they're not part of benefiting from this opportunity, even despite the fact that they're also from the Kenyan citizen. And up to this far, the organization is 3 years, and we're moving on slowly to have the dialogue with the larger society. We have the dialogue with the LGBTI community, because Coast Women for Women deals with the lesbian, bisexual, queer, intersex, trans, and gender non-conforming, who are parents and those who are prospective parents. So thank you all for this opportunity. And we believe that because the issue of funding to support our work, this also limits some of our work. So we believe that we'll be having these fundings to continue supporting our work, to reach out to many rainbow families who are continue coming out and appreciating themselves, that they've been there existing but in closet because of the stigma and discriminations that they fear to experience around them. So thank you very much. Your mic, Masha, your mic.
I also talking a lot with the problem that being rainbow family and also the family that work for human rights. But I also want to talking about successful story, which will be really short. This is the first time ever that my organization have the call funding, because of during the COVID-19. We are not only working, we are not only trying to survive, but at the same time, we are serve the community. And that made a lot of donors see us, and then they are support us, which make us possible to do 4 things that actually is no funding before. 1, we are running the human rights and gender justice education, which actually we established 2 schools. One is the women's school that aim to empower the women who are lost opportunity to went to school when they are so young. Second, we are established the feminist school, which is teaching online for the young people in Thailand. Last year up to now, we already completed 3 batch, which is already 100 young feminists went to our trainings. Secondly, we are start because of the impact of economic, we are started economic empowerment. This project led by LGBTIQ, who are indigenous and also ethnic minority, they are won the prize, which is around that's enough to start the business actually. So this economic empowerment aim to start the indigenous textiles, which is the rainbow color. And the women who are metatheta is the indigenous women who are stateless. Third, we are conduct the COVID-19 FPAR, or the COVID-19 Feminist Participatory Action Research, which help us to tackle what happened, what the impact to the indigenous communities, and how we can recovering from that. Fourth, this is last but not least, is the SOGI, Gender and Social Justice Program, which aim to advocate around human rights, LGBTIQ rights, and also gender justice. That all happened during the most difficult time, but we can do it because of we got all of you who are support the human rights work. Thank you.